next level. So I'm very pleased to introduce our next esteemed panelist, Dr. Ankita Singh. Dr. Ankita is the Senior Vice President and Global Head of HR at Signex Datamatics. She has over 22 years of progressive experience in managing and leading various aspects of human resources, spanning across high-paced business domains of the ITES. She was awarded as the CHRO of the year continuously for 4 years from 2017 to 20, and she has achieved many more awards and recognition. So, Dr. Ankita, you have such great experience in HR. So, I would like to ask you some questions around mental health and well being. So, how, according to you, can we build on the individual states of employees and help them to effectively come back to work? In your opinion, what are the policies that need to be changed or modified in the post COVID era? Over to you, Dr. Ankita.
Thank you. Thank you, Sakshi. I think Raghu very beautifully elaborated, and I think a part of my question was already answered by him, that why it is difficult to get back employees in office or back to work that efficiently, if at all they are not balanced in terms of physical health or mental. Now, imagine when we are talking about second wave and when things still remain so uncertain and directionless, how a person who is associated with the organization without a clarity would be able to attain, a peace of mind, or would be able to define a way for himself or herself. Now, the situation is difficult. Even the organizations do not know where they will land, where they will be after 3 months. Forget about the aspects that we used to talk, that in 2025 we see our organization at this level. We are not sure for 2 months or 3 months now. So can we just simply give up on employees and wait for situation to get better? Probably that's not feasible and that's not practically possible. Can we do everything in the best possible manner and get them to a normal state? Even that is not possible. So the only solution that I could see, or what we are doing in our organization, is we are keeping everything as basic as possible. So we know the pandemic has changed everything around, and probably in the most unexpected and dramatic manner. When there is uncertainty everywhere, we ensure that our employees have answers to these 6 questions. And when I say 6 questions, the first one is why. So if at all there are changes when we are releasing employees, when we are hiring, when we are doing a hiring freeze, when we are not processing their increment or bonus, proactively we are going back to them and we are telling them that this is the reason, this is the purpose, this is the reason why we are not able to do it. Or if at all we are releasing few employees, we are not able to cross train, this is the reason why we are not able to do so. The second one is what, which is guiding them what role they have to play. So obviously, things are difficult, and when we say this is the reason why we are doing it, obviously they would say fine, justified, but what am I supposed to do? That has to be clearly told to them by the organization, and that's the second move that we have taken. Third one is how, which is telling them how will they get impacted and how will the organization manage. So if at all there is a pay cut, what percentage? If the pay cut is done now, or if there is zero increment next year, will they get double increment, or there will be no increment for next 2 years? So clarity and transparency becomes the most important thing, because they would understand your incapability or your challenges, but that has to be communicated with the right intention at the right time. Fourth thing I would say is, when will this impact most will impact them most, until what time this situation will persist. So we know, we were talking about first wave, and then we were almost back to normal, and then we were badly hit by second wave, and we don't know, a lot of people are talking about third wave. Can we say that, by the end of July or August we will be in a perfect state? Probably not. But if at all we are confused, if at all we don't know where we are headed, at least same has to be communicated to the lot, in some sense, in some manner, that they know that probably we do not have a clear road defined, but whatever is feasible and possible, we have defined that, keeping in mind business, but definitely people. Then it's where, which is where we are now, and where will this take us as an organization. We end up doing, or we end up passing statements like, the business is not working, and that's the reason we'll have to do this particular act for our employees. We'll have to release these many, we will promote or retain the critical employees, wherein at some level we keep talking about organization as a family, organization as a whole. So when we are talking about where, we should be clearly able to communicate that where as an organization we stand today and where we will be tomorrow. And the last one is who, as in who will take the ownership. I have seen open houses where we address all our employees saying that we are introducing these policies, this is what we will be doing with your increment, with your bonus, with your promotion, but we don't know what will happen next. I mean, you are the owner of the company, you are the owner of the process. There is a possibility that even you would not know where you would land tomorrow, but because you have the responsibility of those employees, you have to be very clear, you have to own it up, that this is what I'm doing as a leader, and tomorrow if there is a problem, don't worry, I will be there, or we will handle it together. So these are few things. If as in when I talk about these 6 points, I primarily talk about building a connect, and communicating with a purpose, and being there. If these basic things are done, no matter what sector it is, when we are talking about sectors which were highly impacted, or sectors like IT which were able to sustain throughout the tenure, this will still work. And because people have required clarity, they may not be super enthusiastic, but trust me, they'll stand well, and they will be able to play their role as defined by the organization in a much better fashion than the people who do not have any clarity what the business or what the people in it are doing. And the moment they get a better opportunity, they'll just move on. So that's the answer to the first part of the question, Sakshi. The second one that you said, which are the policies those should be changed? I think again, these have to be defined by the leaders on the basis of need. Just because the world is changing, not necessarily everybody has to correct and change, because there is a possibility that few of the organizations are already at the right place. So study your business well, study your system well, and people well, and go in those 4 steps, which is, the first one is identify what has to be changed. Is there a need? If you identify a few, change and stay open for feedback. A lot of times as a senior management, or as a leader, we have a tendency or a habit of communicating, this is what is best for the organization and for you. We fail to take the feedback and further work on those policies. That is very much required, so feedback has to be taken. Third is repeat the cycle if needed. You have already identified the change, you have studied, you have already changed your system, but if needed, please go back again after you get the feedback from your people. Identify what went wrong, what went right, and strengthen or change or restart the entire process. So this would be the basic flow. I think my co-panelist very beautifully covered that there are few policies those would definitely need to be changed. According to me, I think top 5 to 6 policies would be communication. Obviously a lot has changed, the virtual has become the new real. So your communication policy, your health and safety policy, reward and recognition like Raghu just mentioned, data and information security, because now everybody is using system at their place. A lot of people are now into bring your own device mode, so that has to be strengthened. Onboarding and processes linked to statutory processes, because those are changing. Organizations that have considered DNI, because that market has also opened up, and it has opened up in such a vast manner that now you would see 40 to 50% of them are also getting considered when we start our hiring process. So policies have to be made more neutral, that can cover people like gig economy, when we talk about contractors, when we talk about freelancers, or when we talk about people who are on break and they are ready to work for just couple of hours. So these are few, and definitely all your work from home related policy, because earlier it was done keeping in mind that you are working within a defined space where everything is under the control. Now everybody has a different environment and situation, so in a way all those policies get defined, but the few that I stated would definitely need a very intentional transformation. And I think most of the organizations have done it in the most fantastic manner. So that's my take on the questions, Sakshi. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ankita. I think very well articulated and beautifully answered in a very short manner. Communication is a key. We should communicate to the employees and to all the stakeholders, which is important.